Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus Las Vegas Raiders reaction, an instant reaction. In fact, as we speak, I'm still finishing out the close of this game. There's about 2 minutes left, but we all know what's going to happen. 45-20, the score here. Tom Brady looked fantastic. The Raiders did not look good. If you watched my preview, or I think I had multiple previews of this game coming into the week, they were all both, everything was recorded before some of the COVID stuff. So once I saw that Brown and Abram were both out, I knew it was kind of lights out for the Raiders, unfortunately. I mean, they hung in there. They put in a good effort, and I think they closed this thing into about 4 points before really Tampa Bay just kind of took control of the game there. So let me just say about the Raiders is either a very good team, and Tampa Bay beating the Raiders 45-20 is actually, to me, more impressive than them blowing the doors off of Green Bay last week for two reasons. One, really, Green Bay, everything had been stacking right for them, and Tampa Bay just had a great game plan. Aaron Rodgers, although, all credit to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Aaron Rodgers throwing two critical picks, one a pick six, one down to like the 3-yard line in a row. That doesn't generally happen. Once they did that, Green Bay, abandoned the run as teams tend to do against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that was that. Well, the Raiders were a team that I thought they were a good matchup, but again, that was predicated on Abram playing. Tampa Bay, they can throw the ball downfield. I love Fournette in this offense, by the way. If you're a fantasy football player like I am, I've been saying for a while that Fournette is the better running back to own, is the better running back to have than Ronald Jones. Now, I will say Ronald Jones played extremely well, at least statistically speaking, but Leonard Fournette looks like the guy. I don't think you could argue that at this point. The Raiders, like I said, without Abram in there, Brady could do whatever he wants. What I do find interesting is Mike Evans is completely useless at this point, I think, as a fantasy football wide receiver. Now, he's a goal line threat, so if you're in a touchdown-only league, maybe even a standard league or something like that, he's fine. But look at his targets. Now, Tom Brady threw the ball 45 times. He was 33 of 45, 369 yards and 4 touchdowns. And we know that Mike Evans has been getting touchdowns, but it's been a lot of like 2 targets, 1 reception for a touchdown. Well, Mike Evans got 2 targets today, and that's the rule. It's not the exception. It's the rule. 2 targets, 2 receptions, 37 yards, no touchdowns. Scott Miller looks better. Chris Godwin being back and fully healthy now, or at least looking fully healthy, that is fantastic for this offense. The addition of Antonio Brown to this offense, and yes, you don't really know. I mean, it's flip a coin. I'm sure Antonio Brown would have loved to have played in this game against the Raiders, but that whole thing, Antonio Brown, we don't know if it's going to work out. We think it'll probably work out for at least, 2 or 3 games, and they'll win those games, but we'll see. I mean, if they can get Antonio Brown integrated in this offense and basically, in my mind, replace Mike Evans on the outside of the field and then use Mike Evans more as a goal line weapon, this team is going to be so hard to beat. They're deep everywhere. Scott Miller looks fantastic. I mean, that touchdown pass that Brady threw in right into the breadbasket there was fantastic. 9 targets, 6 catches, 106 yards, and a touchdown for Scott Miller. Gronkowski, his ascension inside this offense, I think, is dramatic. In the last couple of weeks, we've seen him grow and grow. We've seen him get more playing time. Obviously, it helps him. I shouldn't say helps. It's kind of the wrong word. But with O.J. Howard, unfortunately, being injured, Gronkowski being on the field more, him having that chemistry with Brady having that trust in tough situations to just throw into double coverage to Gronkowski, and Gronkowski brings it down. That's an element that I felt this Tampa Bay offense needed all along. And now that they're using it, really the sky's the limit for these guys. It's 8 targets for Gronkowski, 5 receptions, 62 yards, and a touchdown. Just across the board, Brady spreads the touchdowns. Tyler Johnson got a touchdown as well. Cameron Brate adds as a target and everything. Basically, look, the reason, again, why I say this dominance of the Las Vegas Raiders was more impressive than last week. Sometimes in the NFL, a team just doesn't put it together. And the Packers last week. And again, credit to Tampa Bay. But the Packers, they weren't ready to play that game. And Tampa Bay, coming off that loss to Chicago, was ready to play. This time, Gruden always has the teams ready to play. So Tampa Bay really, I think, got, yes, I know Brown and Abram are out, got, I think, Las Vegas's best shot, at least the best shot they could give today, and they still whacked them. So Tampa Bay will be moving up quite a bit in my power rankings. And, I don't know exactly where I'm going to stack them yet, but I got to say, the ability to play defense and the ability to score at this level, I've only seen really the Pittsburgh Steelers play on both sides of the ball that dominantly so far this season. They're going to be very, very hard to beat. It's going to take a team that can assert their will in the running game, like a San Francisco, maybe like a Pittsburgh, or it's going to take a team that could just blister you in the passing game, even though you have a good secondary like a Kansas City, like a Seattle. There's very few teams that are going to be able to match up, and I wouldn't even add Green Bay into that list. I'm not freaking out based on last week, but I'm saying there's very few teams that match up well against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tennessee would be another team. The Raiders, like I thought, if they were at full strength, would have been there. Now, by the way, Bucs fans, I'm not using that as an excuse. Injuries happen in the NFL. The Raiders, I think, needed all of the pieces on their chessboard to compete with Tampa Bay today, and they just didn't have a couple of key pieces. Again, I don't use that as an excuse for the Raiders or anything like that. I think Tampa Bay probably would have won the game based on how they're playing right now. But what I am saying is, earlier in the week when I thought this game would be closer and that the Raiders would cover the spread, I assumed that those two players were going to play, and those are two big pieces, at least within this matchup. Once they were gone, it was a Tampa Bay day. Now, the Raiders, look, closing the gap, I thought the Raiders played pretty well. Raiders fans, let me know what you saw. I mean, it was just an old-fashioned butt kicking, and I do like the Raiders. They'll be fine once they get all their players back. I think they're missing probably another playmaking receiver on the other side. I like Hunter Renfrow, and of course I love Ruggs, but I think they need another receiver, and the Raiders will address that. I like Edwards. I know Edwards was out, but I think they still need something else. You look at the targets. By the way, rushing, nothing doing there, but of course you figured that was going to happen. Josh Jacobs, 10 carries, 17 yards. Again, I mean, they weren't going to get any running going without Brown in the game. That was my thought going into it. Ruggs, Jalen Richard gets 7 carries, but nothing doing on the ground. In the passing game, Aguilar gets 9 targets, 5 catches, 107 yards and a touchdown. Darren Waller gets 6 catches, 50 yards and a touchdown. I think Tampa Bay, you got to be able to run the ball and stick to the run, which is very hard to do against Tampa Bay. And like I said, it's got to be a team that has an elite enough passer to consistently get 3rd and 10s converted if you're going to play that game. But I think it's important to play that game with Tampa. You have to be able to run against them, and that's why Tampa is so hard to beat, everybody. Hunter Renfrow, 6 targets, 4 catches, 42 yards. Ruggs, only 3 targets. I know they took some deep shots to him. Ruggs has got to get more targets. I mean, he's an electric guy. I don't know how to get him the ball. I'm not saying I have the answers to that, but he's got to be more integrated in this offense somehow, especially in a game like today. Josh Jacobs adds 4 targets, 3 catches, 14 yards. Just not a lot. Not a lot of offense for the Raiders today. Once the Bucs in the second half, I think they took it to about 31-20, if I'm not mistaken, and they just kept scoring more and more after that. Once they got off the path of being able to run in the fourth quarter, that was that. The Raiders want to play a football game that will allow them to run the ball in the fourth quarter. We saw it today with Tennessee versus Pittsburgh. Tennessee was down by 10 points, and you know what? That's 2 scores at the start of the fourth quarter. They're okay with that. They'll run the ball with Derek Henry. He started getting chunk yardage. The Raiders could not do that today. So, hey, kudos to the Buccaneers. Like I said, they're going to vault up my power rankings this week. The Raiders, sky's not falling. Need to have all your players play when you're playing against, in my mind, an elite team like Tampa Bay. This isn't a shock to me, and honestly, it really shouldn't probably be a shock to Raiders fans. Tampa Bay is elite. Get over it, everybody. They are. Tom Brady, his arm looks as good as any arm in the league. It looks good. I've been saying that all offseason. He's fine when he has weapons to throw to. He's fine, and he has more weapons to throw to in this offense than he has in the last few years. Raiders, you're going to struggle against a Pittsburgh Steelers type team. You're going to struggle against a Tennessee Titans type team, these really elite teams. And actually, I think you'd match up well against the Titans, as a matter of fact. So it's not bad. You just need to string some wins together. There's 7 playoff seeds up to grab. You'll get them. Tampa Bay, I think, New Orleans, I know they're coming on strong. They're going to get Mike Thomas back at some point. That's going to be interesting to see how that division shakes out. But Tampa Bay is my favorite team in the South, regardless of what their records are at the end of the year, regardless who wins the division. Tampa Bay is built for playoff football. They can score with anybody, and they can stop anybody, and it is very impressive. So kudos to the Buccaneers. Great win. Raiders, better luck next week. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think your teams can get better doing. Comment below, and we'll catch you on another reaction soon. Thanks, everyone.